Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review Special Number 7. This I'm reviewing the 1041st chapter of the manga. Brothers Reuniting After 30 Years. Yep, that's the name of the chapter. Chapter starts off with the police arriving at the crime scene. And yes, I predicted correctly that it will be Maguire and Tagaki shows up this crime scene because, yeah, they show up basically every time that there's a crime. So basically, to get sort of a debrief of what would happen, a kind of debrief what happened, and it was spoiled by Harley and of course Conan, that was definitely murder. And it was suspected that, and they basically have good suspicion to believe there was one of the three brothers, one of his three younger brothers who killed this guy. Which, okay, yep. And of course, they pointed out though that when they arrived, those three were over here, and of course then Ortro show basically mentions that, yeah, ciphers, basically Soviet code. Yeah, it turns out their mother was an old friend of an old. Basically, the mother was a housekeeper at a mansion which is owned by a friend of her family's. Yep, and basically she decided to hire Harley and, well, hopefully Sichi to basically for help, but Sichi wasn't available, so Carter basically came instead. Yep. And then they asked the obvious question: who arrived first? And of course, well, Rachel points out though, like, come to think of it, the port officer who got us here also said something. After a bearded man came in here, another man also. Yet afterward, he said two men arrived afterwards. That's when McGuire asked who asked first. And then simply put, the second son says, I arrived first. And then the third son said, yep, basically by order of birth, basically that's when they arrived. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, it kind of points out something interesting though. It's not like you always knew. If the culprit knew Basu, the eldest son, had sent messages to his brothers telling him to come where he got killed, it's possible somewhere then after somebody else, he pretended to just arrive to leave the message. Oh, I see. Cody, you're amazing. Oh no, is that right, Zishi? Kudo, you're a pain in my. I'm sure he's probably gonna say pain in his butt or pain in his neck. That's probably what basically he says. Then he talks to them briefly. Then they basically discuss that they haven't seen each other in like 30 years, and they bring out a photo of them when they were younger. Mm-hmm. It looks like their father and the other brothers, and apparently they're all the same exact photograph. Apparently, there's no other pictures. And then they show off the fact that the older brother's got like a burn mark in his hand. All the other brothers got the same burn mark. Said the reason why is because of a pot they lit that was really hot, and it burned all their hands. Yep. Like while a bag with this particular pot on the top floor, and they said call the brothers about and Tsugagi basically suspects that calling the brothers involved in this Jakas in this basically this hot pot. And of course they mentioned by the orders. How about asking the person who got it here? And of course they bring in the the port officer from the previous chapter, because why not? I mean, it's only been like maybe an hour since they discovered the body. And of course he mentions pretty much the same thing. They confirms basically what he said before. And then of course Martin her butler basically points out a picture to him on the phone, like a message. Information they got her. And apparently she wants Conan to she wants Kudo to basically win this case. Well, Kachu wants Harley to win the case. And Rachel, yeah, basically, Rachel opens her bag and says, I brought some. Like, what's that? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, because it's really hot. Yeah, they mention it's like really hot. So, and of course, Steve McGuire, he's sweating like crazy, which understandable. It probably says it's probably 100 degrees. It's the summertime. Mm-hmm. And they mention about a trip he was on, and asked to check the message history. And they talk about a watch, a jacket, and some food. And of course, Conan suspects kind of the same thing, and then also, and then Archer basically mentions that, hey, Conan, huh? You relayed everything in the case of the Kudo, right? Yeah. In that case, our Authority here would be glad to offer assistance. How about it? It's alright. That's what Sichi. Well, she looks like she's pecking Kudo. How'd you keep fighting? After I went against. Yeah, and of course he thinks he wants to confess to Katsu right there. He's been thinking of that for like about half the series, confessing to the woman he loves, but keep getting interrupted due to various things. One time they get interrupted by the self defense force. Yes, the self defense force interrupted him from saying he interrupted his confession. And there's a flashback to the Junior Detective League, talking about an allergy. And apparently Harley figured it out. And apparently Rachel's rooting for her. And Conan's like, I'll go ahead and solve this case before Harley does. Yeah, I know I'm basically kind of skimming through this chapter, but you kind of say that's not much happening in this chapter aside from revealing some stuff here and there. hmm This overall definitely was a good chapter and does progress the story really well. And I'm definitely looking forward to the next chapter comes out. Hopefully it doesn't take very long. At least, unlike the first chapter where they had to take 2 freaking weeks to come out, this one only came out just yesterday. hmm And I'm definitely looking forward to next week's chapter. Yep. So yeah, not much else. I'm gonna give this chapter roughly a 8.5 out of 10. Doesn't progress it that very much, but it does progress it. Yep. And I don't think, as far as I can tell, the next chapter is gonna be the end of this arc. I think this arc probably going on about 2 or 3 more chapters for ending. That's just my personal theory. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Next up is another comic corner. Yep. Which basically, this last one involved 2 Superman trades. Next one involved 2 Batman trades. Okay? But you see you all there. Bye.